Today we're doing a lesson on alternating arpeggios that create extensions, part 2, minor. We did the part 1 last week where we looked at this concept on a major key, C major. We're going to do the same thing now on the C minor key. Before we get into today's lesson, I'd just like to say that this is part of a series of lessons that I'm doing for my newly started Patreon membership that you can check out and join if you're interested. There are already a lot of lessons and playing videos and material up there, and I'm going to be updating it regularly with lessons basically every week because we have a lot to talk about. And if you're watching this on YouTube, please hit the like button, subscribe to the channel so you get all the latest videos from me. And with that out of the way, let's get started with today's lesson. So, alternating arpeggios that create extensions in a minor key. We're going to do this in C minor. So let's just for a minute take a look at what are the notes of the C minor 7 arpeggio on one string, and we're going to use those notes to start an arpeggio from each one. So I'm playing the C, then I have the E flat, then I have the G, and then I have the B flat. So let's start with the first arpeggio on the note C, and I'm going to play a C minor 7 arpeggio. Now a small note about the shape that I'm playing here. It's the traditional arpeggio shape where you play two notes, 1, 2, 1, 2. If we look at that a little bit closer, you notice that I'm starting with the first finger on the first octave. It's 2 octaves, this one. So I'm playing this. But when I go to the second octave, I'm changing shape. I'm starting with the third finger. And I'm playing this. Now you don't have to do that. This is the traditional arpeggio shape. You don't have to start the first octave with the first finger and the second octave with the third finger. You can start both of them with the first finger, for example. That's the first one. I could go to C here with the first finger. Then I would get this shape. There are many ways that you can start. You can start with each one of the 4 fingers on each one of the 6 strings. And I have actually done a course on this subject that's called the Arpeggio Change System that examines exactly that process. How many arpeggios are there with, if you think about how many fingers you can start with on all of the strings, and then what are all the possible ways of combining all the starting fingers between them to create longer chains of arpeggios. That's where the name comes from. And I've done that in several different chord types or arpeggio types, sequences, extensions, everything you can think of. It's a very, very extensive course. It's over an hour long. So if you want to learn more about that, you can get that course from my website, video and PDF, or from Patreon. So back to today's lesson. We started the C minor 7 arpeggio from C. Now we're going to go to E flat. That's the next chord tone, and I'm going to play a major 7 arpeggio. So let's have a look at what notes I'm playing here. I'm playing the E flat, that's the minor 3rd, against the C. I have the G, that will be the 5th. I have my B flat, which is the minor 7th, but then look at that. Here I have a D. Now D is not a chord tone of C minor 7, sorry, it's a diatonic tone, so it's part of the C minor scale. and it's the second or ninth degree of the scale. So when I'm playing this, if you hear it as a chord against the C, it produces the sound of a C minor 7 chord. So that was that. Let's go over to the, as we say, C minor 9, sorry, C minor 9. So let's go over to the G. So when I go to the G, I play a minor 7 arpeggio again. So let's take a look at what notes I have here. I have the G, and I have the E flat, I have the D again, that's my ninth degree, but this time I also have the F. Now the F is the 4th or 11th degree, and because I have both the D and the F, the 9th and the 11th, what I'm getting is a C minor 9/11 sound. So if I play it as a chord against the C, hear it again, you can hear that very nice minor 9/11 sound. So that was G, and then going over to the last one, B flat, I'm playing a major 7 chord again. So C major 7 arpeggio. So now what notes do I have here? I have the B flat, that's my minor 7. I have the D again, that's my 9th. I have the F again, the 11th, but this time I also have this, that's the A, so that will be the 6th or 13th degree of the scale. So now I have 3 extensions when I play this B flat major 7 arpeggio. I have the 9th, I have the 11th, and I have the 13th. That's all the available extensions on that chord. So if I play that as a chord, against the C, you hear that it's a very nice and very complex kind of sound. So it's a very nice sound to play for a minor chord. Now let's do an exercise. Let's do an exercise to get used to these shapes. So we're going to do this exercise where you go up one shape, down the next one, up, down. That's a good way to get these shapes under your fingers. So now all that's left is to talk about how you put these shapes into practice and make some music out of them. So what I would like to talk about is this. I'm going to do some playing soon, and I'm going to try to improvise all those shapes. Now, this is not something that I sit and prepare, it's improvised, but I can say how I think that you should think about these arpeggio shapes while you're playing. So you don't want to really play them up and down as an exercise, because then it's going to sound like an exercise. So what you want to do is use these shapes as a skeleton, and then fill up with other things, notes from the scale, chromatics. So say that you're playing something on C minor 7, you're playing a song and you have a few bars of C minor 7, or a modal song that goes in C minor. And then you're here, you're doing that E flat major 7 shape. So if your shape is here, you see in between all the notes of the arpeggio that I'm playing, there are many other notes. Now all of these notes They're all available to you, and they're all correct. Don't let anyone tell you otherwise. You can play all of those notes. You can keep an eye on the skeleton, which is the arpeggio, and you can play everything in between. But you have to do it carefully, and you have to do it musically. And if you want one guideline that helps you structure that into music, think this: play whatever you want, but make sure that you end your phrase on a note in the arpeggio, one of the notes of the arpeggio. So I'm here, and then I'm finishing my note, my phrase, on this B flat note. It makes it sound correct. It makes it sound like you know what you're doing. So it's worth experimenting. I'm gonna now try to put that into practice, and I'm gonna set my backing track here that plays some kind of E minor vamp, and I'm gonna just try to play around on each shape. I'm gonna try to combine them. I'm gonna throw in other things, as I said, notes from the scale, chromatic notes, and let's see what happens. So that was an example of picking those shapes, playing around with them, adding things, playing notes from the scale, chromatic notes, moving from one to the other, and hearing what's happening, discovering some new things, reacting to what you just played, and just try to be creative and have a good time with it. I think that's why we're all here. So that was all for today's lesson. I hope you found this useful. Check out the Patreon, like and subscribe please, and I'll see you again at the next lesson.